My wife texted from vacation. Flirting is harmless fun, I replied. Being single will be fun too. Then she called me in panic. What do you mean by single? While you're here, don't forget to subscribe, hit the hype button, and support this channel with a like, and tell us below. Have you ever faced something like this? I was sitting in the break room at Chicago Metra at 1:12 in the morning, staring at my phone while cold lo mein congealed in its plastic container. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead like they always did, and somewhere down the hall a janitor was pushing a mop bucket across linoleum. Everything was normal, except for the text message glowing on my screen. Chloe had sent me a photo from the cruise. Her and 3 other women holding cocktails with little umbrellas, all of them laughing at something I would never be part of. The caption read, "Girls Trip Energy, living our best lives." Below it, she had added, "Some guy at the bar tried his luck. Flirting is harmless fun, right, babe?" I read it 3 times. Not because I did not understand it, but because I wanted to memorize the exact moment everything changed. I am a transit systems engineer. I design fail-safes and redundancies for train networks that move 200,000 people a day. When something breaks, you do not panic. You audit. You trace the problem back to its source. You isolate the damaged component, then you replace it. So I typed back, "Being single will be fun too." I watched the 3 dots appear immediately, then disappear, then appear again. My phone rang 6 seconds later. "Ryan? What the hell does that mean?" Her voice was sharp, but I could hear the alcohol underneath it. Background noise too, music, male laughter. "It means exactly what it says," I said. "Are you threatening me?" "No, I am informing you." "Informing me of what?" "That if you are single, you should act like it, and single people handle their own bills." There was a pause. "You are being insane right now." "Am I?" "Because from where I am sitting, my wife just told me she is flirting with other men on a vacation I paid for. That sounds pretty single to me." "It was a joke, Ryan. God, you are so dramatic." "Then why did you call me in a panic?" She did not have an answer for that. I could hear someone in the background asking if she was okay. A man's voice, deep, confident. "I have to go," she said. "Sure, enjoy your harmless fun." I hung up before she could respond. Then I opened my banking app and started working. The thing about marriage is that it is a system. Inputs and outputs, shared resources, mutual dependencies, and like any system, it has vulnerabilities. Chloe never bothered to learn how ours actually worked. She assumed it would just run forever because I was the one maintaining it. Big mistake. Our credit cards were all under my name. She was an authorized user. So was our streaming services, our car insurance, our phone plan, our Uber account. I had added her to everything when we got married because it was easier that way. She never questioned it. She just swiped and clicked and assumed the money would always be there. I spent the next hour methodically removing her access to everything. Chase card, canceled her user status. Capital One, same. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, DoorDash, Uber, Instacart. One by one, I revoked her privileges. I did not close the accounts. I did not drain anything. I just quietly removed her from the infrastructure. It was 2:15 in the morning when I finished. I saved all the confirmation emails into a folder labeled System Maintenance and then opened our joint checking account. That is when I saw it. 5 days ago, there had been a transfer, $3,200, moved from our savings into her personal checking account. The memo line was blank, the day before her cruise. I sat back in my chair and stared at the number. $3,200. We had been saving for a down payment on a house. She knew that. We had talked about it for months, and she had just taken a chunk of it and moved it without telling me. I pulled up her personal account. She had linked it to our joint finances years ago for transparency. She had forgotten about that, apparently, because 3 days ago, that $3,200 had been transferred again, this time to someone named Dylan Reese. I wrote the name down on a napkin. Then I opened Facebook. Dylan Reese was not hard to find. He had a public profile with 2,000 friends and a banner photo of himself on a cruise ship in uniform. Security officer, Royal Caribbean, Fort Lauderdale home port. There were pictures of him with his arm around various women at various ports. Cozumel, Nassau, Key West. He had the kind of smile that made you think he practiced it in the mirror. Lots of teeth, lots of confidence. I scrolled through his recent photos, and there she was. Chloe. In one of his tagged photos from 2 months ago. They were at some bar in Chicago. She was wearing the dress she told me she wore to a work event. He had his hand on her lower back. The caption read, "Reunion tour with my favorite planner." I zoomed in on her face. She looked happy, relaxed, the way she used to look at me. I closed the laptop and sat in the dark for a while. The janitor had finished mopping. The building was quiet except for the hum of the HVAC system. I thought about calling her back. I thought about getting on a plane and flying to Fort Lauderdale and making a scene at the port. But that would be emotional, reactive, sloppy. I am an engineer. Engineers do not react. They plan. So I started planning. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I never call in sick. My supervisor sounded confused. "You okay, Ryan?" "Food poisoning," I said. "I will be back Monday." I spent the day gathering information. Chloe's cruise was a 7-day Western Caribbean loop. She had boarded in Fort Lauderdale on Sunday. Today was Wednesday. That meant she would be back on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. I pulled up the Royal Caribbean website and looked at the ship manifest, the oasis of the seas. Capacity, 6,000 passengers. Security staff, 32 officers. Dylan Reese was listed under the crew directory. Senior security officer. 5 years with the company. I took a screenshot, then I went through Chloe's Instagram. She had been posting constantly, mostly pictures of her and her friends, Melissa, Jordan, and Tanya. The 4 of them had been planning this trip for months. A girl's getaway, no husbands, no kids, just fun. Except one of her photos showed a man's hand holding a drink next to hers. The angle was deliberate. She had cropped his face out, but I could see the uniform sleeve. Security officer. The comments were full of fire emojis and "You go girl" messages. Melissa had written, "What happens on the cruise stays on the cruise." I saved all of it. Then I opened a new document and started building a timeline. 2 months ago, Chloe meets Dylan at a bar in Chicago. He is in town on leave. 6 weeks ago. She starts mentioning the cruise more often. Asks me if I mind if she goes. I say no because I trust her. 3 weeks ago, she withdraws money from savings without telling me. 5 days ago, she transfers that money to Dylan. 4 days ago, she boards the cruise. Yesterday, she texts me about flirting being harmless fun. I stared at the timeline for a long time. This was not an accident. This was premeditated. She had not just cheated on me, she had planned it, funded it, and then rubbed it in my face. The rage came then. Not hot rage, cold rage. The kind that makes your hands steady and your mind sharp. I closed the laptop and went to the bedroom. Her side of the closet was half empty. She had packed for a week, but she had taken more than she needed. I checked the top shelf where she kept her extra purses and found a small cardboard box shoved behind them. Inside was a stack of real estate listings, all of them for lofts in the West Loop, all of them dated from 3 weeks ago, all of them circled and annotated in her handwriting. At the bottom was a lease application, unsigned but filled out. Applicant 1, Chloe Harlow. Applicant 2, Dylan Reese. Move-in date, November 1st. Deposit required, $3,200. I sat on the floor of the closet and laughed until my ribs hurt. She was not just cheating, she was leaving, and she was using our money to do it. I put everything back exactly where I found it. Then I went to the kitchen and made myself a sandwich. I ate it slowly, methodically, like I was preparing for surgery, because I was. On Thursday, I called Chloe's sister, Emma. "Hey, Ryan," she said. "What's up?" "Just wanted to give you a heads up," I said. "When Chloe gets back, she might need a place to stay for a bit." There was a pause. "Why?" "Well, single people usually do not live with their ex-husbands. Just thought you should know." "Wait, what? Are you guys splitting up?" "Ask her when she gets home." I hung up. 2 hours later, Chloe called me. I let it go to voicemail. She called again and again. On the 4th try, I answered. "What the hell did you say to Emma?" she yelled. "The truth." "What truth?" "Ryan, you're scaring me." "Good." "Good? What is wrong with you?" "Nothing is wrong with me, Chloe. I am just done pretending." "Pretending what?" "That you are not planning to leave me for some cruise ship rent-a-cop." Silence. "I do not know what you are talking about," she said finally. "Dylan Reese, $3,200, lease application for a loft in West Loop. Want me to keep going?" Her breathing changed. I could hear her moving somewhere quieter. "You went through my stuff?" "Our stuff. Joint account, joint savings. I did not go through anything. I just looked at what was already mine." "Ryan, listen to me." "No, you listen. You took our money and gave it to another man so you could move in with him. You planned this whole thing, and then you had the nerve to text me about harmless flirting like I am some kind of idiot. It is not like that." "Then what is it like?" She did not answer. "That is what I thought," I said. "Enjoy the rest of your trip. When you get home, your key will not work. Your cards will not work. Your phone plan will not work. Single people handle their own bills, remember? So handle them. You cannot do that. I already did. I hung up. She tried calling back 17 times. I blocked her number. Then I sat on the couch in the dark and waited for Sunday. I was standing in the arrivals hall at Fort Lauderdale Airport at 7:30 on Sunday morning, holding a manila envelope. The envelope was labeled, "For Your Independence." Inside was a copy of the lease application, the bank transfer receipts, and a printed screenshot of Dylan's Facebook photo with Chloe. Also included was a notarized letter terminating her access to all shared accounts, and a list of items she was allowed to retrieve from the apartment. Everything else, I explained, would be donated or sold. I had dressed carefully, clean jeans, a button-down shirt. I looked like a man who had his life together, which technically I did. The cruise passengers started trickling in around 7:45. They looked tired and sunburned and slightly hungover. I watched families reunite. I watched couples hug. I watched a guy propose to his girlfriend right there in the terminal. And then I saw Chloe. She was pulling a pink suitcase and wearing oversized sunglasses even though we were indoors. Melissa was next to her, talking animatedly about something. Behind them, rolling a large black duffel bag, was Dylan Reese. He looked exactly like his photos. Tall, tanned, smug. I walked toward them. Chloe saw me first. She froze mid-step. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. "Hey, babe," I said loudly. "Welcome home." People turned to look. Dylan stopped walking. Melissa's eyes went wide. "Ryan," Chloe said quietly, "what are you doing here?" "I came to deliver this." I held out the envelope. "Since you are starting your new single life, I figured you would need the paperwork." She did not take it, so I dropped it at her feet. "What is this?" Dylan asked. His voice was deeper than I expected. He stepped forward like he was going to do something. "That," I said, looking at him for the first time, "is the documentation of a fraud. $3,200, transferred from a joint account to your personal account for a lease deposit." His face changed. The smugness drained out of it. "Who the hell are you?" he asked. "The husband." Chloe bent down and grabbed the envelope. Her hands were shaking. "Ryan, please, not here." "Why not here? You did not seem to mind making a spectacle of yourself on Instagram. I figured you would appreciate the publicity." A small crowd was forming. People love drama at airports. It is better than anything on their phones. "You are insane," Dylan said, "and you are a thief." He stepped closer. "Say that again." "You are a thief," I repeated slowly. "You took money that was not yours. That makes you a thief." He shoved me. It was not a hard shove, but it was enough. Enough to justify what I did next. I slapped him. Open palm. Across the face. Hard enough that it echoed. The crowd gasped. Dylan stumbled back. More from shock than pain. He touched his cheek like he could not believe it had happened. "You just assaulted me," he said. "You shoved me first. Self-defense. There are cameras everywhere. Want to call security? Oh, wait. You are a security. That is going to be awkward." Chloe was crying now. Melissa had disappeared into the crowd. Smart girl. "Ryan, stop," Chloe said. "Please, I will fix this." "There is nothing to fix. You made your choice. So did I. And my choice is that you do not get to steal from me and pretend it was love." I turned and walked away. Behind me, I heard Dylan say something, but I did not care. I had done what I came to do. Humiliation is a powerful weapon, and I had just deployed it in front of 100 witnesses with phones. By the time I got to my rental car, there were already 3 videos of the slap posted online. I drove straight to the airport hotel and checked into a room. I was not flying back to Chicago until Monday morning. I had planned it that way. One more day in Fort Lauderdale to make sure everything was in motion. From the hotel room, I could see the port where the Oasis of the Seas was docked. Thousands of passengers were still disembarking. Somewhere in that crowd, Chloe was probably trying to figure out what to do next. I ordered room service and opened my laptop. The first thing I did was check my email. There were 47 new messages. Most of them were from Chloe. Subject lines like, "Please call me," and "We need to talk," and "I am sorry." I deleted them all without reading them. There was one email from Emma. It was short. "What did you do to my sister?" I did not respond. The second thing I did was check the credit card activity. Chloe had tried to use her card at a gas station, a restaurant, and a hotel. All declined. She had also tried to withdraw cash from an ATM. Also declined. Good. The third thing I did was log into our shared phone plan. I could see her location. She was still at the airport. She had been there for 2 hours. I wondered if Dylan was still with her. I wondered if he had finally told her the truth about his wife. I wondered if she was starting to realize that the man she had thrown away her marriage for was not who she thought he was. I hoped so. Around 3 in the afternoon, my phone rang. It was a number I did not recognize. I answered it anyway. "Is this Ryan Harlow?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes. Who is this?" "My name is Patricia Reese. I believe you know my husband." I sat up straight. "Dylan." "Yes, Dylan. He just called me from Florida. He told me some very interesting things. About you and about a woman named Chloe." I said nothing. I waited. "He told me you assaulted him at the airport, that you are stalking him, that you are trying to ruin his life." "That is one version of events. What is your version?" I took a breath. "My version is that your husband has been having an affair with my wife for at least 2 months, that he convinced her to steal money from our joint account so they could rent an apartment together, that he has been lying to her about being divorced, and that he is now trying to play the victim because I exposed him." There was a long silence. "Do you have proof?" she asked finally. "Yes." "Send it to me." I sent her everything: the bank transfers, the lease application, the photos from Facebook, the screenshots from Instagram, the time-stamped pictures from the cruise. 10 minutes later, she called me back. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was cold, hard. "I have been suspecting something for a while, but I did not have proof. Now I do." "What are you going to do?" "What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to divorce him, and I'm going to make sure he does not get a single thing." "Good." "You said he convinced your wife to steal money." "Yes." "Do you want to press charges?" I thought about it. "Not yet, but I might." "Let me know if you do. I will back you up. I have access to his bank records. If that money went into his account, it will show up." It did. "Then we have him." She hung up. I sat in the hotel room and stared at the wall. I had not expected that, but it was perfect. Dylan was not just losing Chloe. He was losing everything, and Chloe was about to find out that the man she had sacrificed her marriage for was not worth it. Chloe tried to come home that night. Her key did not work. I had changed the locks on Friday. She rang the doorbell for 10 minutes before she finally called me. "Let me in," she said. "No." "This is my apartment, too." "Actually, it is not. Your name is not on the lease. Mine is. You were never on it. I just let you live here because we were married, but we are not married anymore, so you do not live here anymore." "You cannot do this." "I already did." She tried her credit card at a hotel, declined. She tried to get an Uber, account suspended. She tried to order food, same problem. By midnight, she was sitting outside the apartment building in the lobby because she had nowhere else to go. I watched her on the security camera feed on my phone. She looked small, defeated. I felt nothing. At 1 in the morning, Emma showed up and took her home. I got a text from Emma at 1:30. "You are a monster." I did not respond. Monday morning, I flew back to Chicago. The flight was uneventful. I read a book, I drank coffee, I thought about what came next. When I landed, I took the train home. The city looked the same as it always did. Gray, cold, indifferent, but I felt different, lighter, like I had put down something heavy that I had been carrying for years. At home, I checked the mail. There was a letter from a law firm. I opened it. It was a cease and desist letter from Dylan's attorney. It accused me of harassment, stalking, and assault. It demanded that I stop contacting him, stop spreading false information about him, and pay for the damage to his car. I laughed. Then I scanned the letter and sent it to Patricia Reese with a note. "Your husband is threatening me. Thought you should know." She responded within 5 minutes. "Forward this to my attorney. We will handle it." She included a phone number. I called the number. A man answered. "Law offices of David Chen?" "Hi, my name is Ryan Harlow. Patricia Reese told me to call you." "Ah, yes. She told me about you. What can I do for you?" I explained the situation. The affair, the stolen money, the cease and desist letter. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "Do you want to countersue? For what?" "Fraud, theft, alienation of affection." "Is that a real thing?" "In some states, yes. And we can argue emotional distress. You have a strong case." "How strong?" "Strong enough that he will settle before it goes to court." "I do not want his money." "Then what do you want?" I thought about it. I want him to admit what he did. In writing. I want him to apologize, and I want him to stay away from me and my wife. Ex-wife? Not yet, but soon. I can make that happen. "How much will it cost?" "For you? Nothing. Patricia is covering it. She wants to make sure he does not get away with this. I smiled. Tell her thank you. I will, and Mr. Harlow, you did the right thing. I was not so sure about that, but I appreciated him saying it. Monday afternoon, Chloe's Instagram went dark. All the cruise photos were deleted. Her bio changed from event planner and life enthusiast to just her name. The videos from the airport had gone viral. Not huge viral, but enough that people in her circles were talking. Her business partner sent her an email asking if everything was okay. 3 clients canceled their contracts. I knew this because Melissa told me. She called me Tuesday afternoon. Ryan, we need to talk. No, we do not. Please, I feel terrible about all of this. You should. Can I just explain? I almost hung up, but something in her voice made me pause. Guilt. Real guilt. Fine, you have 5 minutes. She met me at a coffee shop in Lincoln Park. She looked like she had not slept in days. Her eyes were red. Her hair was pulled back in a greasy ponytail. She was wearing sweatpants and a hoodie. I did not know it was going to go this far, she said. What did you think was going to happen? I do not know. I thought it was just a fling. A stupid mistake. It was not a fling. She planned it. Melissa nodded slowly. I know. She told me. Told you what? That she was leaving you. That she had met someone who made her feel alive again. That you were too boring. Too predictable. I sipped my coffee. Go on. She said she needed a safety net. That is why she moved the money. She wanted to have enough for the deposit so she could move in with Dylan as soon as she got back. She was going to tell you after the cruise. She just wanted one last fun trip before everything blew up. And you went along with it. I told her it was a bad idea, but she would not listen. She said you would never find out. Well, I did. Melissa looked down at her hands. There is more. Of course there is. Dylan is not who she thinks he is. I know. He is a cruise ship security guard who steals from passengers' husbands. No, I mean he is married. I set my cup down. I know. I already talked to his wife. Her eyes went wide. You did? Yesterday. She is divorcing him, and she is helping me build a case against him. Does Chloe know? Not yet, but she will. Melissa looked sick. She is going to lose it. Good. Ryan, I know you are angry, but she is still my friend. I do not want to see her destroy her life. She already destroyed it. I am just making sure she understands what she did. Is there anything I can do? Yes. Tell me everything. So she did. She told me that Chloe had been unhappy for over a year, that she felt trapped, that she thought I did not pay enough attention to her, that she felt like I cared more about my job than about her. She told me that Dylan had pursued Chloe aggressively, that he had showered her with attention and compliments and promises, that he had made her feel special. She told me that Chloe had convinced herself that leaving me was the right thing to do, that she deserved to be happy, that I would be fine without her. She told me that the plan was for Chloe to move in with Dylan after the cruise, let me find out on my own, and then file for divorce once she was settled. She told me that Chloe had never intended to tell me the truth. She was just going to disappear. She thought you would be too hurt to fight back, Melissa said quietly. She thought you would just let her go. She was wrong. I see that now. I finished my coffee. Is there anything else? Just one thing. Dylan has been using her, the whole time. He does not love her. He just needed a place to stay while he figures out his divorce. He told her he was getting a big settlement, but he is not. His wife is taking everything, and now that you have exposed him, he has nothing. And Chloe? She has nothing either. Her business is falling apart. Her friends are turning on her. Her family is furious. And Dylan is about to dump her. When? Soon. Maybe already. I do not know. She stopped answering my calls yesterday. I stood up. Thanks for telling me. Ryan, wait. What are you going to do now? Finish what I started. I found Dylan Wednesday night. He was loading boxes into a silver Camaro outside a storage unit near the port. I had driven back to Fort Lauderdale that afternoon. It was impulsive. Stupid, maybe. But I needed to see this through. I needed to look him in the eye one more time. I parked across the street and watched him for a while. He moved like a man who thought he had gotten away with something, confident, careless. I waited until he went inside for another load. Then I walked over to his car and took out my keys. I dragged them along the driver's side door from front to back. One long, deep scratch. The sound was beautiful. Metal on metal. Permanent. He came out just as I was finishing. Hey, what the hell are you doing? I turned to face him. Marking shared property. That is my car. Bought with my money. He dropped the box he was holding and started toward me. I did not move. "You are out of your mind," he said. "Maybe, but at least I am not a thief and a liar." He swung at me. I ducked. He was bigger than me, but he was slow. I stepped to the side, and he stumbled forward. "Does your wife know you are moving in with another woman?" I asked. He froze. "Yeah, I know about her. Does she know about Chloe?" "You do not know what you are talking about." "Miami, right? Nice house in Coral Gables. 2 kids. You told Chloe you were divorced, but you are not. You just like having options." His face went pale. "How did you—" "I am an engineer. I solve problems, and you are a problem." He tried to grab me. I sidestepped again and pushed him into the car. He hit the scratched door and slid down to the pavement. "Stay away from me," he said. "Stay away from Chloe. Chloe is your problem now, not mine. But just so you know, your boss at Royal Caribbean got an interesting email this morning. With photos, time-stamped during work hours, with a passenger. That is a firing offense, right?" He stared at me. "You did not." "I did. You are destroying my life." "No, you destroyed your own life. I am just making sure everyone knows about it." He stood up slowly. His hands were shaking. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing. I do not want anything from you. I just want you to know that actions have consequences, and yours just caught up to you." I walked back to my car. He did not follow me. He just stood there in the rain next to his scratched car, looking like a man who had just realized he lost everything. I drove to the airport and caught a red-eye back to Chicago. On the plane, I got a text from Patricia. "Dylan came home. We had a long talk. Thank you for everything." I responded, "You are welcome." Then I turned off my phone and closed my eyes. When I landed in Chicago Thursday morning, the sun was just coming up. The city looked clean, new. I took a cab home and slept for 12 hours. When I woke up, there was a voicemail from Chloe. "Ryan, please. I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But Dylan just broke up with me. He said it was your fault. He said you ruined everything. I have nowhere to go. I have no money. I have nothing. Please, I am begging you. Can we just talk?" I deleted the message. Then I made myself breakfast and started planning the final move. Thursday night. A storm rolled into Chicago, the kind that makes the streets look like rivers and the sky turn the color of old bruises. I stood across the street from the loft Chloe had picked out. 4th floor, corner unit, floor-to-ceiling windows. I could see lights on inside. In my hand was a folder. Inside the folder was everything I needed to finish this. Bank statements showing the fraudulent transfer. Printed emails from the landlord confirming the deposit. A copy of the lease application with both their names on it. And a screenshot of Dylan's personnel file from Royal Caribbean, which I had obtained through a helpful HR representative who did not appreciate employees stealing from passengers. I crossed the street and went inside. The landlord was waiting for me in the lobby. His name was Martin. He was 60-something and annoyed. "This better be good," he said. "Trust me, it is." We took the elevator to the 4th floor. Martin knocked on the door. Chloe answered. She looked tired. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun, and she was wearing sweatpants. When she saw me, her face went white. "What are you doing here?" "We need to talk," I said. "I do not want to talk to you." "Too bad. We are doing this now." Martin cleared his throat. "Ms. Harlow, this gentleman claims there is an issue with your lease deposit." "There is no issue." "Actually, there is," I said. I handed Martin the folder. "That deposit was paid with money stolen from a joint account without the other account holder's consent. That makes it fraudulent." Martin opened the folder and started reading. His expression changed as he went through the documents. "Is this true?" he asked Chloe. "It is complicated." "It is not complicated," I said. "She took money from our joint savings account and gave it to her boyfriend so they could rent this place. I did not authorize the transfer. That makes it theft." "That is not theft," Chloe yelled. "It was our money." "It was our money. You moved it without my permission. That is the definition of theft." Dylan appeared in the doorway behind her. He looked worse than he had at the storage unit. His face was bruised on one side, and he had a cut above his eye. "What happened to you?" I asked. "None of your business." "Did your wife find out?" He did not answer. Martin looked at both of them. "I am going to need to verify this information. If what he is saying is true, the lease is void." "You cannot do that," Chloe said. "I can, and I will. Fraudulent deposits are not something I take lightly." "We will get you new money," Dylan said. "With what?" I asked. "You just got fired, and Chloe's business is falling apart. Where exactly are you going to get $3,200? Chloe turned to me. Her eyes were full of rage and something else. Fear. Why are you doing this? She asked quietly. Because you asked me what I meant by single. This is what I meant. Martin closed the folder. I am canceling the lease. You have 24 hours to remove your belongings. Wait! Chloe grabbed his arm. Please, we have nowhere to go. You should have thought of that before you committed fraud. He left. The elevator doors closed behind him. Chloe stood in the doorway, crying. Dylan looked like he wanted to hit someone, but did not know who. This is not over, he said. Yes, it is. I pulled out my phone and showed him the screen. It was an email confirmation from Royal Caribbean's corporate office. Your employment was officially terminated this morning. Reason? Fraternization with a passenger during work hours. They are also investigating the connection between you and the fraudulent deposit. If they find enough evidence, they will press charges. His face went from angry to terrified in about 3 seconds. You are ruining my life. No, you ruined your own life. I am just making sure everyone knows about it. I turned to Chloe. She was staring at me like she did not recognize me. You wanted to be single, I said. So be single. Handle your own bills. Handle your own problems. Handle your own life, because I am done handling it for you. I walked to the elevator. Behind me, I could hear her sobbing. Dylan was yelling something about lawyers. I did not care. The elevator doors opened. I stepped inside. As the doors closed, I saw Chloe collapse onto the floor, her face in her hands. Dylan was standing over her, looking lost and angry and utterly defeated. I smiled. The elevator descended. The storm was still raging outside. Lightning lit up the lobby as I walked through it. My car was parked across the street. I got in, started the engine, and sat there for a moment, watching the rain hammer the windshield. Then I drove past the building one last time, slow, deliberate. I took out my keys and dragged them along Dylan's Camaro as I passed it. The screech of metal on metal cut through the sound of the rain. I kept driving. At the end of the block, I stopped at a red light. I could see them in the rearview mirror, standing in the rain, staring at the long scratch down the side of the car. The light turned green. I drove away. Behind me, everything I had built with Chloe was gone. The marriage, the trust, the shared life. But I did not feel sad. I felt free. Single people handle their own bills, their own mistakes, their own consequences. And I was not single. I was just done.